Perfect.
Good afternoon. I am so thankful you guys are able to hop on with us today. I know kind of midday, midweek can be a little tricky for some. I have several people who are like, send me the recording. So we're going to record this and be able to share it with more people that way. But us three here, Amber, myself, and Eva, are just so excited again to share some of the same things we have been sharing over and over. Some of you are on here and have heard us share before, but we just don't get tired of it. And we hope you don't either, because what we are doing is something that's impacting families for the future, for generations. And we just get really excited about that, especially when we're seeing results and seeing the things happen and work and move in our families and so many around us. Okay, so we wanted to just quickly bring you back to, if you've been on here before, or if you've heard about this, maybe this is your first time, why we're doing this, why we call it building wealth with wisdom. Because we just saw kind of a need for women to just really grasp the whole concept of, number one, wealth is possible for little country us. All three of us here have similar, very simple, humble backgrounds. And some of us even hesitated at the thought of wealth. So we have worked through all that, and Proverbs 31 being a big influence on us in that area. And then with wisdom, it's just simply, to me, when I think of wisdom, I think of experience and understanding. So that's what we want to share with you, our experience, what we have learned through doing this. So I'll just quickly say, for me, when I see and hear women, because I get messages now and then. I just see people putting it out there on social media that they're looking for
Mhm.
something to do from home to bless their family. So many people in my network anyway, and I see Amber nodding too, that are Proverbs 31 minded women. Like, we're open to that, and they are looking for some way they can contribute to their family. Now, when I was looking for something like that a few years back, I brought some suggestions to my husband, and he was always like, that doesn't look like a good choice for you as a busy mom of 11, homeschooling, helping him with our current home business we had then. And then he just said, it has to be something that's worth your time. So I see
Mhm.
women trying to do the affiliate marketing thing. I see them trying to do the big Instagram following thing. And when I talk to them one on one and find out what that really looks like behind the scenes, it is like so much work on you and you alone forever, all the time, 24/7. And the thing that we have loved about the wisdom of network marketing is it is not all on us 24/7. It is
Mhm.
about teamwork. It's about spreading the love and empowering others. So that's my quick rundown of that. My story, like I mentioned, I have 11 kiddos and just live in a rural few acreage here in Wisconsin. Love, love, love our little life here. But I wanted the bigger things for my family. We had 8 sons and just struggling to make ends meet, and the future looked bleak. 12 years ago, when I heard about Plexus, we had been praying for an answer. We had looked into several things. Nothing was opening up. And then this stupid network marketing opportunity came along. My husband and I were both like, no way, we're not doing that. Like, that's just not us. Well, we found out God has cool ways of showing his hand in our lives. We opened our minds to saying yes, and it changed everything. We went from being in debt. We had over $100,000 just in debt between personal and business. We paid that off in a couple years with this wonderful opportunity, built a much needed bigger home, and so, so grateful. So that's why we share. That's where my heart is in trying to explain a little bit why we're doing this. And I cannot wait to hear from Amber and Eva. Who wants to go next?
I'll jump in. And then Eva, you have so much greatness all the time. So I'll get mine in before you because then maybe it'll sound better. Thank you, Brenda, for opening us and having this space because, like she said, like-minded women that are Proverbs 31 minded, home centered, and looking at this as what can this really be? Is this that value that I'm seeking and seeing? So we're always glad to bring it back to that. So a little bit of my story was I was a young stay-at-home mom. trying to look for ways to help add to the household. My husband worked really hard, long hours, and I just wanted to add some guilt-free income in there. And I had always been entrepreneurial minded. I had always like, and it's just almost creative. I'd always been creative and had ideas and let's do this and let's do that. And I don't think, and I know that every single woman on here has that in them. I think we were actually designed to be producers and creators, right? I always say if I wasn't doing Plexus, I would definitely have an Etsy store and a homeschool planner, and like I would be doing something because we were designed to do that. What makes our soul feel alive. I love being a homemaker, 4 children. I'm a homesteader. We do the whole farming life, but having something outside of it that you can just be creative and have fun and pour yourself into. And I'm not an athlete physically, but an athlete over here. Like it's just its own soul-filling thing. But so I was always doing something, probably like a lot of people on here. You've probably had a pattern of like trying and doing things, which I just want to shout out is good. Like if you've maybe tried Plexus before or tried another business model similar or something else before, that just speaks to what we are supposed to be doing, producing and creating. So it's good. Don't let that be a sense of, I know sometimes that can be a sense of shame, like, well, I've tried and I wasn't successful. You tried because you had this like hope burning in you and you knew there was something good here. Like, let that be a strong point. I'm coming back to this because at my core, I know there's so much value here and I'm a different version of myself now, right? So just throwing that out there. But I was doing a lot of little things, and this is where I see wisdom when we're talking about wisdom in Plexus and the business model. And what we have seen with Plexus is um, before it, I was baking bread. I did have an Etsy store. I made jewelry. I had chickens and I was selling chicken eggs, and I was babysitting people's kids and doing Airbnb like cleanings, like all these little things. All of those had a limit. I could not clean a house for someone once and get paid on it month after month after month. I physically had to be in that place. It was taking me physically out of my home, right? And I had to continue to have that reoccurring. When I had my Etsy store making jewelry, I had to sell a new necklace every time to have repeat income. So when I saw the Plexus business model, it made so much sense. If I do work once, I have a new customer order once, and if they love their product and it's good service and they continue to order, I get paid month after month, year after year on that single piece of work. I think of it like the Proverbs 31 example of buying a vineyard with land, right? We always say land is such a good thing to buy because and planting and a gardening, it's producing, it's growing, it's becoming, it's not a one-time thing. So it makes me think of that. But I saw that with Plexus more and more as I continued to pursue it. And just like a garden, it was not without effort, right? And that's not what we're seeking here. I want to remind you, like, we're not seeking cheap and fast. We want long term. We want wealth. The word wealth is different than a paycheck. Paycheck is in and out. You have to be present. You have to be there at the moment. Wealth is something that lasts long term and produces into future generations. That's what we have the ability to create here, right? So after 12 years of being with Plexus, that's how long we've been with Plexus, it is still producing that wealth for our home into and now into other spaces. Like we were just able to buy a second home, and I told someone, we're hoping it can be a starter home for one of our kids one day, as they get going. Like that is being able to produce for future generations because Plexus is our full-time income and has allowed that. So that's that like vision I want to cast for you when you're looking at this. And my like one actionable tip here, and then Eva, I'm going to pass it over to you, is what are you focusing on at any day or any moment? Tomorrow, the next week, when you get off this call, what are you thinking of right now? One of our amazing friends, Wendy Larson, was sharing on a live. She said, David and Goliath, that the army before David, they were focusing on how big Goliath was, like how big Goliath was. That's what their thoughts were. That's what they were speaking among each other. Like nobody can take him down. He's huge. He's a giant. That's what they were focusing on, right? But when David, when he heard all of this, where was his focus? It was on how mighty and big his God was. He didn't give any credit to the size of Goliath because that's not what he was thinking and focusing on. He had a strong purpose, he had a strong vision, a strong desire, like, and he knew who his God was. He wasn't looking at himself. He didn't compare. He didn't go, Goliath's that tall, I'm this tall, there's a height difference, there's a strength difference. No. So that's what I would encourage you when your thoughts start to go, well, but I don't have a big network, but I've tried this before, but I'm only what I said, I'm only 23. Nobody's going to listen to me. Or I've been doing this for a year and I haven't seen that thing yet. I want to ask you, are you focusing on Goliath? Are you focusing on the possibilities because you know what's attainable and you know that God, I do believe that the Lord wants good and great things for us and for his people, right? So that would be my actionable, like what you can put into place right now. Where is your focus? Because your actions will follow your focus. So that is my word of encouragement. Eva, passing it over to you, friend.
You know what I love? I love that we didn't really talk about what we're gonna say on here. And then we all just have like the same kind of flow going because this is exactly what I was excited about, the residual part of our business. And then the actionable step that I have for you guys is going to be similar to Amber's, but maybe just with a little bit different of a twist. Because it'll just be examples of what I did when I started. So I don't know if there's anyone brand new on here and has no idea what residual income even means or what it means when like what Brenda was saying and Amber was saying, I fully understand now. But when I started, I didn't understand like how in the world could I make money where it would just keep going and I wasn't there. Like it just didn't click. For me, it was just I saw people making money and they said it worked. There was evidence, so I'm going to do it. Like that's just how I started out. Whatever they tell me to do, I'm going to do it. If it's hard, I'm going to do it. The evidence is there that it works. I'm going to follow it. And it wasn't until I was probably 5 months in or 6 months in. It was the month I went senior gold when I had 11 people. I just remembered the day because it was such a light bulb moment. I had 11 people sign up on my team that month that I did not know and I did not have anything to do with. Like I did not have to do anything for that to happen. It was just that my people were doing the same thing I was doing, was like, oh, Eva's doing it, I can do it. And they just copied. And so I was like, okay, 11 people, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, how do I just got like completely absorbed in like what I was supposed to do with those 11 people. And it was crazy. Like, where did they come from and who are they? And it was just a moment where I had to like let go and be like, this is how it's meant to work. It's supposed to be like a snowball. It feels a little bit crazy when it starts happening, but that's how it works. And that's how the residual income is created is people are copying what you do because you're copying someone else that did the same thing. It is just all empowerment when you are showing people that it is possible and you're making it simple and easy for them to just copy because you're doing the same thing. So I really love that about this business because it means somebody like me who didn't really have an education, never even finished grade 8, could just do it. Like it's just simple concepts that you follow and do. So I started out really just wanting to have a vacation with my family. That was like my big, big goal. And able to have a honeymoon with my husband that we never had and got to do that on our 10th anniversary. So I saved up for that. That was really fun and exciting. But as it grew, my dreams grew and my understanding grew and wisdom came from experience. Doesn't mean you have to have all of that now. You just have to start by doing the action steps. And so the action step I wanted to share with you today is kind of the same as Amber's, but what you focus on is what happens and what expands, which when you can get out of your head of just focusing on your survival and what's hard in your life and go out with the eyes of seeing other people's lives, taking your focus off of yourself, but seeing other people's lives and what they could be going through and what's happening for them, you're able to like serve in a way that brings connection that I want you to go out thinking you're always adding people to your list. And it doesn't mean they're going to join Plexus. Doesn't mean that they're going to be part of your business, but it's an eternal thing for you. We're meant to connect with people. We're meant to bring value to people. God created us that way. And so don't just go about your day with your head down, absorbed in your own thing that's going on in your life. Look up, see the people around you, and see where you can make a difference. And the step that I don't want you to skip is like bring the names home. Bring the names home. Like if you meet someone at the grocery store and you're like talking about a thing and you put yourself out there, sometimes you get that little whisper in your ear that says like you should talk to her, but you don't do it because you're scared. I want you to do that because it's meant for more. It's something bigger than even what you're thinking of. Bring the names home, contact them, text them, friend them on Facebook, whatever, or do it right in person. I do that often. And think outside of yourself. Focus outside of yourself. That's my tip. Like bring the names home.
Okay, I can't even believe this because we did not talk about this, but what I have is right in line with what you guys shared. So Amber's like, let's focus on, the good part of this, what can happen, not our struggles. And Eva's like, yeah, let's focus on that and find people to serve. And my actionable item for you to take is let's put these people on a list and message them. Like, I really wanted to talk to you guys, challenge you about reaching out to people. You should have a list that is constantly growing. I did a boo-boo. I'll share one little way that you can learn the mistake of this. So back, it's close to a year ago now, when I had a real boom of following growth on my Instagram, got a lot of messages of people interested in so many areas. Like they wanted all the mom tips. They wanted to know about my supplements. They wanted to know about my business. And I was trying to keep track of all these people and all the messages and serve all of them. And somehow I missed the one gal, getting her on my list to follow up with. And I recently came across, I just like, I don't know, I just kind of forgot about her. I just didn't get her on the list. I recently saw her post that she just joined this amazing business opportunity and is rocking it. And I'm like, this is why we want to serve others. I'm super happy for her that she found something that's working for her. That's what she was inquiring about for me. But I would have loved to have her on my team and support and empower her. My point being, this is why we take the time to really serve people well. Keep track of them on your list. Make sure you're messaging them, following up. And I know we always feel like we don't want to be that like pest because we're network marketers. That is one thing that kind of is, some people do it wrong, give us a kind of a bad look because they're just like desperate and just like sending out the messages. But when it's from a heart of serving, just like you heard from Amber and Eva, it will come across right. And they are looking for something. They are praying for something. They just aren't sure. And as long as you can meet their needs, ask them the questions to find out where they're at and what they're looking for, and then show them what you have to offer, get to know them as a friend, and that can change everything. So that was my actionable item. So you've got to have a list of people and it has to be continually growing because we are here to serve others. We're here to change lives and you have to be messaging these people. If you feel like that's an area that you need growth in, just message whoever is supporting you in this business, possibly me or Amber or Eva, and we can help you in that. But I did want to just leave you guys with a little bit of a challenge, and then even Amber, you guys can add on to this too. I feel like the main thing that I hear from mamas when they're like they see the dream, they see the vision, they want this, they're ready to, like we've said, focus on their future, serve people, message people. I would say the main struggle that they come to me with is that they don't have time. And I wanted to just touch on that really quickly because that's just one of my passions because I get it. You all heard I had 11 kids. I was homeschooling. I was helping my husband with his home business. We had a full schedule. But you know what we did? We dropped a lot of things to build this business. I recently heard from a mom who said something to the effect of, and just like Amber was saying, we women are like designed to be creative, to be doing something valuable and productive, like we really want to do that, but we can choose where we put our time and do in what we do. I was one that always loved to have a big garden. I took pride in my house being pretty much spotless for having that many kids. Like I put a lot of time and effort into it. My husband taught me eventually after many years of scrubbing the floors till bedtime or whatever it took to get my house clean to just chill in that area. But that's the kind of person I was. And I dropped a lot of that. I didn't do a garden. I let things go. And closets didn't get cleaned out. Things just kind of in the corners just build up the cobwebs, whatever, for a season. And I do not regret it because we went so all in. It was like kind of crazy for a while. But that's kind of what we knew we had to do for a business because we did a business before. And we worked through the night if that's what it took to satisfy our customers. So we understood that. So I'm here to say do not worry about neglecting your family or ignoring them. If you sit down and you have a plan, we're going to just not do these things for 2 years because we're going to be doing this instead. You can have this conversation with your husband because we have the 24 hours. You just have to choose that this is what's going to change our future. And I'm going to put way more time into it than I maybe would have thought I need to do just to make an impact, to really do something. My words are kind of losing me here. Amber, you can probably say it so much better than I can. But that's just my challenge for you guys because it's not a hobby. It doesn't just happen by people talk about doing it in the nooks and crannies. And yes, but I created a lot of big nooks and crannies to make this happen. And that's my challenge to you guys because I want this for you. It's amazing to live in financial freedom. And I want this for you, but it doesn't come fast or easy.
I love it. I love it. I would just add to that is you will never have the time, you make the time. Every single person does. If you're looking for an excuse, you will find one. Whether
Yeah.
it's time or lack of this or lack of that, you will find it. So that once again, what are you looking on? Are you looking at Goliath of I don't have the time, or are you looking at possibility of like how can I create time? How can I find time? Or also what I tell new women getting started in this, it really doesn't take that much time. Like there's messages to send on your phone. I send voice messages when I'm cooking. The kids are playing outside and I can just send voice messages in 30 seconds to people. I save the carts, the Plexus carts on the notes in my phone. There's really not that much time. I think it's more just the actual getting into the action. So I'll tell women just send one. Just send one message, 32 seconds, to send one message. And then if you want to send more, send more. And usually that just like breaking the ice of just sending the first message, you go, you know what? I should probably go tell so-and-so. Let me go send her a message. And I'm going to tell her a message. And 15 minutes later, you've sent 5, 6 messages and you did it, so don't let excuses hold you back because you've got important things to do, right? And what does the version of you that you want to be choose? So thank you for that, Brenda. Hopefully that helps too.
I knew you could say it so well.
Well, you buffered it. You got it ready. Eva, do you have anything else you want to add?
The only thing I would add, you said it perfectly. The only thing I would add for the time thing is like recognize where you might be doing a ton of things just out of obligation because you've always done it, because someone asked you to, because a church told you to, and you're doing it because what will people think if I don't do it? You probably have a bunch of time right there of things you can no longer need to do and you're just doing out of obligation and you don't really like anyway. That happened to me. I was like, oh, I actually don't need to do this. I can use that time somewhere else. That is actually helping my family.
And I think people really respect that too. Like when I started telling people, oh, I'm sorry, I can't go to that play date. I am going to work. Like it made me take myself seriously of what I was doing. And it also showed the person, oh, wow, she is doing something serious. And I think I could reschedule for next week, but I set up structures and boundaries to have certain work time. And then I honored that time and other people honored it as well. And it was really a good testimony, I think, to being a good steward of what you're doing. But
I agree.
Yes, I always say one of my biggest tips for anything with being a mom of many, with building a business, is to learn to say no and to just really set those boundaries, because you have a dream for your family and you have to be the one in control of that, and in control of your time. And I just want to add to that. When I say that it makes a happier home for sure. When I say take some, time to focus on this later. Like now I can devote more time to some of these things I said no to for a season. It's not like you have to forever, never do that again, but it's just about prioritizing now because of what matters for the future. I think that most of you kind of understand that. Okay. That was super fun.